Right, okay, let me get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of Health 360 with myself, Shadia, and the lovely Cass. This week, we're talking about mental health and its challenges. Thank you for everyone who's joined us live. It really does mean a lot to us. And for those of you who didn't get a chance to listen to last week's talk, here's just a quick introduction for you. I am Shadia Azizuddin. My way of helping people is through sharing my love and passion for Forever's health and well-being products and business opportunity with the world. And of course, now hosting this talk with Cass by bringing people together to openly share, connect, and help each other. Cass?
Hi, sorry about that. You froze. We are having some great technical difficulties today, but we are fine. We are doing fine. So, hello, I'm Cass. I'm a personal trainer. I have my own home studio, and I like the one-on-one aspect of working with people or small groups. I love getting to know people, finding out about them, finding out the best way to motivate them, and what plans work for them, because we're all not the same. So it's great. I love working with people on the one-on-one level, and just listening to them and like piecing together how we're going to achieve our targets and goals together. So yeah, that's what I do.
I'd just like to mention we're not medical professionals and we're not claiming to know it all. We are just here to share our experiences and challenges and our way of overcoming them and staying on top of things in these challenging times. We strongly believe talking about these things makes it a lot easier to deal with, especially when we realize we're not the only ones going through these things and we're not the only ones feeling this way. We really hope everyone watching this can either relate to what we're saying in some way, and they know they're not alone. And we'd also love for people who do know more ways of helping to come forward and share that with us too.
Yes, definitely. I think the way that before we talk about our personal experiences, and especially over the past year, talking about the pandemic and how that's affected a lot of people. I was actually doing my research online earlier, and I actually come across some quite scary statistics. Yes, I need to write down words that I can say. But yeah, so there was a poll taken in 2018, and it was taken from 4,619 people, and it was taken in the UK. In that year, 74% of people had felt so stressed out and been overwhelmed, and they had literally felt that they were unable to cope, which is quite a high number, as you can see. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic and the lockdown over the past year, that has now risen to over 80% of people. So, quite a major rise, but actually a major percentage of people, if you think how many people that actually entails across the UK. So, looking at some other statistics, we're focusing on stress and how it can affect your behaviour, because I think that's one of the things mental health-wise that is often looked over, or sort of passed as in sort of pushed aside. So behaviour, 46% of people, I apologise, reported that they ate too much or ate unhealthy due to stress. 29% reported that they had either started drinking or increased their drinking due to stress, and this is only in the past year. 16% have reported they had either resumed smoking or actually taken up smoking, which is like, to deal with stress, which is actually quite a scary thought, because given all the effects we know around smoking now. The effects mentally, 51% of adults felt so stressed they reported now suffering depression. And 61% report that they are now suffering from serious anxiety. Again, this is all stress based and stress related. 32% said they had suicidal thoughts. Now, that is to me such a scary number. And 37 reported that they felt lonely and they felt isolated, which is understandable after the past year. But again, I just think these numbers are very not. We're not saying them to scare people. I just think these numbers are, quite important. Um, the main reasons of stress people were reporting was lockdown and isolation, which is completely understandable. 36% said someone with major health worries or long-term health conditions was a form of their stress. It brought stress, whether it be them or a family member. And obviously, again, over the past year, we've had a lot of that. 22% was stressed about debt. Again, I believe that has risen now, unfortunately, due to events last year, or still kind of going on this year. 49% related stress comparing themselves to others. So touching back on, if you did be able to check in last week, touching back on like the effects of social media and stuff, and people like putting what they do and done on social media, and people actually looking at it and just taking that as a comparison and feeling that they're not doing as good as other people, which is 49% of people feel like that. 36% of women have admitted a high stress level is to comparing their bodies to others. 32 people said they're stressed about the housing situation. Again, unfortunately, that number has gone up because obviously people money and there's been such an impact on housing. And 60%, last one, have related to 60% of people from 18 to 25 have said a high cause of stress for them is success, and they're comparing themselves. They think that they're struggling maybe because they haven't been able to study or they've lost basically a year, and they believe that they're extra pressure on them now to succeed. So as I say, I'm not saying any of this to scare anyone. It's just a case of this is what's going on, and these are like large percentage numbers that I think I personally fall in a couple of categories of myself. And so, just to reiterate, we're just saying these things and putting these numbers out to say that you are not alone, and these are scary but honest facts.
Yeah, and that is one of the reasons why we've felt the need to do this kind of thing to bring people together to kind of uh, put a platform out there for people to talk, to discuss, and know that we're here for you if you need to talk. It doesn't have to be online. It doesn't have to be on air. But yeah, please reach out to us. We're here. We're listening. We'd be more than happy to help. Um, I know the pandemic has affected us all in bad ways, but if you think about it, in a lot of good ways too. For instance, I've noticed that something I've been struggling with, and there's no explanation for it. I can't. There's no kind of yeah. I can't justify it. I don't know why. But I'm just really afraid to go grocery shopping. Just to Tesco, just out there, just any to pick stuff up. I keep putting it off. I keep putting it off till my fridge is completely bare. I tried doing it online, but it didn't work. I tried the whole click and collect thing. That didn't work for me. Sometimes I get my husband to do it, but as you can imagine, that never goes well. Um,
That doesn't work.
it really doesn't. He comes back with all the wrong stuff, and he doesn't have the stuff I've asked for. um, but I feel like I don't know. In some respects, it's also helped us. Um, I say I'll tell you how I think it's helped us. As a family, what we've had to do is be more organized. Now we plan all our meals for the whole week, and I go shopping with a list in hand. This way, I get the shopping done quickly, I spend less time and money, and I found there's less wastage of food in the house too, which I think is fantastic result from being in a difficult situation. What do you think, Cass? How have
Yeah, sorry, you broke
yeah
a
no
bit there.
how are things with you? Is there anything like anything you've kind of can't explain
Yeah,
and
so
struggle
with
with?
me, it was, I actually, the other day had to do a journey that I've done 100 times,
Yeah.
um, but I obviously haven't done over the past year because obviously we've been inside. And I actually found myself becoming quite anxious. There was no reason why. There was nothing to say why that would have happened, apart from the fact that I've been so in this bubble basically for the past year with like my family, and at home, that now it was like a brand new experience to me. Obviously, something that we get to work through and something that probably won't happen again. But for the first journey, it did have quite an effect. But as you say, I mean, that is a very downside to obviously what's gone on the past year. I mean, but there are also, I think there's some fantastic positives we can take from this. I mean, I picked up an extra qualification because I got bored of, well, I think I actually completed Netflix, which I'm sure most of you have. So yeah, I did that, and the qualification was actually in nutrition, so that pushed me back in the kitchen because I tend to avoid the kitchen. But actually, we've been cooking as a family now. Like, we cook these weird and wonderful things, trying to fit in with the health and the exercise and keeping in shape and not trying to like balloon up because we lost motivation. It actually came out that if you want a cake baked in this house, you turn around to my daughter and not me.
Perfect.
She is the baker, but I can cook a nice chicken, so we're doing well. I've taken up reading books again, which an art that I'd long forgot. Um, and just kind of bonding. I mean, there were down days where luckily I was able to work through because I'm able to work online as a you. I mean, but I think some of the morning hits, I think I've actually turned up in pajamas myself. But I would like to thank all of those people who turned up, whether they were in pajamas or not, because it was that kind of thing that kept me motivated. That kind of thing that the exercise was motivation. But when you're doing it alone, you kind of get, oh, maybe if I just miss this day, maybe if I just finish this book set, or maybe if I just do this. But actually, we got it done. The other thing that I found great was my we actually went for walks. We actually got out in nature, especially during like the first lockdown. I mean, the weather was absolutely amazing, absolutely awesome, and we had found like beauty spots that we would never have found. I found out that I can still climb a tree. Yay me! You know, if the kids are climbing a tree, I have to prove that I'm not an old lady who can do it. Can also do it. So but we did. We found some fantastic spots in nature. We enjoyed walking, and we found it as like quite a bonding exercise, and getting out from being in, like as close as we are, being locked up together for that amount of time. I mean, there were times when you're just like, no, please just leave me alone. Although in the house, there's not many spaces you can be left alone. But getting out, a change of scenery, as you say, the weather was fantastic. We had little picnics. I mean, it was things that I would like to say would carry on. It was coping mechanisms that we used during the pandemic, but actually, the kitchen and the nature, 100% things that I would still love to do when the weather improves.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's strange, but that was one of the first things we discovered as well. It might sound really strange, but when the lockdown happened, it was, of course, it was really scary. It was the uncertainty. We didn't know what was happening, worried about family, friends everywhere. It was all very, very scary, especially the first lockdown, because we really did not know what to expect and what we can and can't do. But like yourself, we found the one thing that really helped us was going on walks, like yourselves. We, as a family, it was something we were bonding over. It was getting us out. We were having fun. It was really nice having the family here together. And we were playing games and that, but there were times when we really got on each other's nerves. It was all new to us, just getting
Yes.
used to it, having each other in our faces all the time. It did take time getting used to it. But again, yeah, a lot of good stuff has come out of it. And we found our own ways of kind of, coping with things. One of the things we did decide early on, actually, was that we would kind of just be open and we'd just tell each other how we were feeling. Because everyone has good and bad days. I know I certainly do, and mine just really, yeah, go up and down. And we just felt like just making the other person aware that I'm having a bad day was enough, and then everyone around them would be more understanding, and kind of kind to the fact that, okay, they're not feeling quite right today. It's okay to feel that way, and that really helped. Um, and the spring months, of course, that's when, like you were saying, the first lockdown happened then. We were really lucky with the weather, so I got back into my gardening, which, for me, it's something I enjoyed anyway. But a really good friend of mine, Mira, she gave me two plants, tomato plants. I'd never done fruit and veg before, but she gave me that, and that just got me into it. And then she introduced me to these new ways of just doing stuff at home with everything you have at home. So I took egg cartons and started planting anything I was bringing at home. So I took seeds from peppers, chili, tomatoes, fruits, everything, and everything got planted. I even took bottoms of things like celery, bok choy, spring onions. Everything went into water. Once it had roots, planted it. So I had a load of vegetables in my garden. It was brilliant and really, really exciting. And I have to say, I've made a whole lot of new friends through that hobby too, which, again, I mean, it's not something I would have done if it hadn't been for the lockdowns. So yeah, really grateful for that.
I
We
think you were also the same as me. When you done a lot of things with your daughter.
Yes,
Um, yeah,
yeah,
which I did as well. I think that's one of the things we have in common. I think obviously we done the cleanse together, didn't we? And
yes, yeah,
there's certain activities that I know she's jumped in on a couple of my exercises when me and you have trained online.
yeah, yeah, yeah. She did, yeah. Those were
Um,
fun. Yeah, those are recorded as well. If someone wants to watch them, they're quite funny.
we have, and I think that was another great thing about, like, making the mental health side of awareness side
Yeah,
was, like, because we were doing things like sort of building this community. We were doing things together and sort of egging each other on,
yeah,
um, and setting ourselves little targets. Like, I remember, like, when we first started talking in January, I
yeah.
was like, well, I want to lose this, I want to do that, and sort of the whole time you've been like my cheerleader, and your daughter as well, which has been
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Oh, oh.
You've been like my cheerleaders, and hopefully that like the same for you. And
No, absolutely. I mean, loved, loved, loved your Wednesday trainings, how you put them out. And those really kept us going. Obviously, you do them in one setting, but it wasn't quite possible for us. So we did them over the week.
oh, but I think that's another thing, and I know we're going to touch on this again next week, but I do think that's an important thing, is like setting targets,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
and being able to deal with um, things, and trying to keep the stress at bay, as it were. I'd just like to mention to everybody, just in case you didn't know, that Mental Health Awareness Week will actually take place between the 10th and the 16th of May this year.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, talking about your garden, me up a tree, their theme this year is nature. So, I think that's something we can all enjoy, all get involved in as well. I mean, even if it's just, we're not asking you to donate or do anything like that, but, everybody's probably got pictures of views of being out, especially during the first lockdown when the weather was hot and they were off to find butterflies. I think that was one of my daughter's things. She wanted to find butterflies. Anything like that. And, if you just to upload like your picture that you absolutely love, that you think that, well, he would love that, it's a picture of a tree. But if you upload that and then hashtag mental health awareness, you are doing exactly what we're trying to do, and you're spreading awareness.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like we mentioned in the chat last week that feeding your body the right stuff is important, but it's equally important to feed your mind the right stuff. And things like this, like going out for walks, reading. For me, meditation and prayer is another thing that really helps me. And I've got a folder on my YouTube channel for meditation. If that's something that someone's interested in or wants to get into, then yeah, do have a look on that for it. Um, and I've taken up more hobbies as well. I've taken up crochet. There's another folder on that. A really dear friend of mine, Abisha, introduced me to that because obviously once the great weather and the gardening was done in the second lockdown, I was kind of lost. And she said, "Okay, take down crochet." And oh my God, do I love that. It's just become my thing, my space. And it doesn't matter how crazy, how mad the day has been, but I find the time, I find at least half an hour just to kind of relax, just be by myself and do that. And my family knows that that's me time for me. And I'm left alone, I get on with it. Sometimes I do both at the same time. I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm doing my crochet. That's just total bliss for me. Saying that, I can't wait for things to get back to normal as they're going to be. I miss hugs.
Yes, and then we could do these together instead of like.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know. Oh my God. It'll be so much easier as well. None of this
Yeah,
tech
you
stuff.
have a date.
Oh, can't wait. um, right.
Yes.
Can I just mention here in the UK, we're really, really lucky that NHS provides us with so much support. So if anyone feels like they're not able to cope, I highly advise you to go and see your GP. They will put you in touch with the right person and get you the help that you need. Um, just to quickly recap the things that we've shared today and that may help you or someone you know. Gardening was one. Remember, it doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. Reading, whole lot of free audiobooks online. Crochet, meditation, all of these are on my YouTube channel. Have a look. For more tips and advice, of course, you can get in touch with me via Messenger or WhatsApp. Things that Cass touched on today were again starting new hobbies, which is always fantastic. Staying motivated, exercise, huge one. She's helped me through it. Her Wednesday ones are brilliant. Definitely take a look. Baking with the children, nature trails, even climbing trees. Why not? Um, you can follow her on her Facebook page. You can follow her on her Instagram page and get in touch with her through those two. Um, and yeah, I think, have we got it all, Cass? Anything I'm missing?
Yeah. No, I just one last thing, and it's not statistics.
Yes.
Anyway, I'll learn that word for next week. I promise. It's just mental health awareness. It's just to say mental health awareness really does increase chances of early intervention.
Yes.
You really can stop something before it explodes into something awful. And the more awareness and the more we talk about this, the more it takes the stigma away. a lot of people think, oh, the houses or something.
Yeah.
You're not alone, believe me. I have about 4 rants a day about someone not putting their shoes back where they're meant to be or something. So you're not alone. And if you get in contact with us, get in contact with any of the support groups at all, just reach out.
Right. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone watching live. And even if you're watching a replay, do hashtag the replay. You're watching Health 360, the live health and fitness chat with me, Shadia Azizuddin. And okay, you want me to take over, Cass? I think it's frozen.
Cass in training.
Yeah. Please like and follow our page to be notified on future events. As always, feedback on our talks so far, and of course, any advice, stories, links you'd like to share are more than welcome. Next week, we'll be talking a little bit about health again in regards to children, goal setting, and planning. Looking forward to a brighter future. See you next week. Bye.